All right, so today we're looking at something pretty wild.
Yeah, this one's out there.
What if Canada, our friendly neighbors to the north, suddenly decide, hey, we want to be part of the U.S.? Like, the whole shebang, eh? Becoming the 51st state and all that jazz.
A united North America. Sounds catchy.
Catchy, maybe, but our research is showing that it might not be the smoothest merger. Welcome to Share Trek Curiosity, everyone. I'm Tom.
And I'm Jane, and we are diving into some hypothetical waters that get pretty deep pretty fast.
Buckle up, listeners.
So, first off, let's just acknowledge the elephant in the room.
Or should we say the moose on the hockey rink?
There you go. Canada joining the U.S., it's not just adding one new star to the flag. It's 10 provinces and 3 territories, each one with its own distinct political flavor.
A whole lot of new voices in the U.S. political wire. And from what we've been seeing, a lot of those voices, they're singing a tune that's, well, a little more on the liberal, progressive side of the scale.
Exactly. Imagine the impact on Congress. You'd have a wave of new senators, new representatives, many of them likely pushing agendas that, let's be honest, don't exactly align with what some on the U.S. right might be comfortable with.
It could be a real power shift, and not in a direction that everyone would be cheering.
Right. So you're thinking about maintaining a certain political majority. This kind of merger, it throws a big wrench in that plan.
For sure. And it's not just about overall numbers. Each of these provinces, they come with their own baggage, their own pet projects, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Take Quebec. I mean, there's practically a nation within a nation. They've been fighting tooth and nail to preserve their French language and culture for decades. You really think they're going to just roll over and say, okay, bye-bye, French. Hello, apple pie.
It's hard to imagine. I mean, their identity is so deeply rooted in their language and their history. It would be a huge point of contention. Like, imagine trying to impose English-only laws on a population that's been speaking French for centuries.
Recipe for disaster.
Exactly. And then there's the economic side of things. Our research showed that Canada already has its own struggles with interprovincial trade barriers. Like, different provinces have different regulations, and it creates all these headaches.
Right, like a tangled mess of red tape.
Exactly. So the question is, would bringing all that into the U.S. system actually help? I mean, would it be like, oh, now everything's smooth sailing? Or would it just create this giant, continental-sized, bureaucratic nightmare?
Adding 10 more layers to the lasagna.
Exactly. And then on top of that, you've got the territories.
Yes, the Great White North.
Talk about a wild card. 40% of Canada's landmass, but a tiny fraction of the population. And, here's the kicker, they're governed differently than the provinces. Not to mention the whole web of treaties and agreements with indigenous groups going way back.
Like pre-Canada Canada.
Right, way before. So how do you integrate all that with U.S. law? It's a legal and logistical puzzle on a scale that's, well, kind of mind-blowing.
It's giving me a headache just thinking about it. And let's be real, these territories, they don't exactly have the same kind of autonomy as U.S. states. So you're talking about renegotiating all these agreements, potentially stepping on some toes.
Big time. And then imagine the political bloodbath over redrawing congressional districts. You're talking about adding 10 new states. Not to mention trying to squeeze 10 more stars onto the American flag. It would be a designer's nightmare.
Yeah, someone's getting a serious Photoshop workout.
Yeah.
But let's move beyond the political game of musical chairs. Let's talk about the everyday folks. Canadians, they've got it pretty good in some way.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And then there's the cultural clash. Think about gun control. Canada, they have a much lower rate of gun violence than the U.S.
Way lower.
And a big part of that is their stricter gun laws. So how would Canadians feel about suddenly being subject to the Second Amendment? I mean, would they be okay with the potential for increased gun violence?
It's a tough question, and one that goes right to the heart of the cultural differences between the two countries. I mean, the Second Amendment is like this sacred cow in the U.S., integrating a population that's largely in favor of tighter gun control. That's a recipe for some serious friction.
For sure. And it wouldn't just be a one-sided thing. How would Americans react to potentially having their gun rights curtailed because of this merger?
Yeah, the whole thing is just mind-boggling. What seemed like a simple what-if scenario has turned into this massive, multi-headed hydra of political, social, and cultural complexities.
Absolutely. It really highlights how interconnected everything is.
And how much we often take for granted the systems and cultures that shape our lives.
Couldn't agree more.
So there you have it, folks. A little glimpse into the potential chaos of a Canada-U.S. merger.
Food for thought, to say the least.
As always, we want to hear your take on this. Head down to the comments and let us know what you think. Would this merger be a beautiful union or an epic disaster? And hey, while you're down there, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to stay tuned for more thought-provoking deep dives.
And don't forget to share this with your friends. Get those conversations flowing.
Until next time, stay curious.
And keep exploring.